I've had the S5 ii for about a year now.
And during that time, I've used it in a large variety of ways. From a bare bones vacation camera to a full-blown anamorphic cinema rig. It's been used on weddings, fitness content, music videos, short films, and of course, these talking head YouTube videos. And during that time, I can count on one hand the number of times it's let me down.
But before diving into all that, allow me to sing its praises just a bit.
There are two things that make the S5 IIX stand out over every other camera on the market. Its versatility and its price point. For run and gun or event work, it features internal stabilization, low light capabilities, and reliable autofocus. For narrative, it's got great dynamic range, flexibility in both sensor and resolution options, and can shoot in both RAW and ProRes. For content creators, it has streaming capabilities and 6K OpenGate to allow for easy reframing for multiple aspect ratios. Panasonic also made sure that it would be reliable in a variety of ways with its weather-sealed body, internal fan to prevent overheating, and dual card slots.
There are very few situations where this camera is going to struggle.
It's become a bit of a point of contention, but in my opinion, there is no camera on the market that can match its feature set. Some argue that the newly released Nikon Z6 III would now claim that title with its internal RAW, significantly faster sensor, and slow motion capabilities. However, its dynamic range is 2 stops less than the S5 II when actually tested at a signal-to-noise ratio of 2, which, just for reference, is a larger gap than the S5 II has when put up against an Alexa Mini. Then when you factor in the S5 II having much better stabilization, OpenGate, and anamorphic modes, which as an avid anamorphic shooter is a godsend, for me, the comparison becomes a no-brainer. The S5 IIX coming in at $500 cheaper at about $2,000 is really just the icing on the cake.
Now, despite all of that, this is not a perfect camera.
The internal H.264 and H.265 codecs sometimes appear to be a bit over-sharpened, which can give off a less organic, slightly digital look. This can be mitigated by dialing back the mid-detail in Resolve, or by simply adding a light touch of blur. Here's a quick comparison between the internal long GOP codec and shooting in B-RAW. The autofocus, while I do consider it reliable, can struggle in suboptimal conditions. It tends to struggle most in large groups of people and when put up against a strong backlight.
That said, these issues have improved significantly since the latest firmware update.
Honestly, I think the main issue most people have with this camera is the APS-C crop at 60 frames per second. And if you're a slow motion fiend and just shoot everything at 60 frames per second, then this is absolutely not the camera for you. In my opinion, the 3 more significant issues this camera has: 1, it's prone to aliasing. I've noticed it popping up even in shots where I didn't think that it would be a problem. 2, the rolling shutter artifacts. Generally speaking, I haven't had too many issues with rolling shutter, but when shooting anamorphic in OpenGate, if you try to shoot any sort of fast-paced handheld shots, the footage is going to get very distorted very quickly. And if you forget to turn off your standard IBIS, it's liable to make you seasick. And 3, the HDMI lag. When using an external monitor, the image is delayed by about a half a second. This would be a major hurdle on larger scale productions that would require a focus puller and maybe the nail in the coffin of this camera's Hollywood dreams.
The S5 II may not be the camera for everyone, but it is the camera for most people. It's a Swiss Army knife, a jack of all trades. And if you're looking for one camera that can do it all, then the S5 II truly is to die for.